Hello, welcome to this presentation on how to submit an ERCAP request. My name is Clayton Bagwell, and I'm with the NERSC Account Support Office of the NERSC User Services Group. This presentation will cover both how to start and submit your first ERCAP request, and also how to renew an existing ERCAP request for the coming allocation year. I'm going to cover both of these cases, concentrating on this year's ERCAP renewal process. What is ERCAP? ERCAP stands for the Energy Research Computing Allocations Process. This is how you apply to use NERSC resources. The allocated resources at NERSC are computing time on our computers and archival file storage in the High Performance Storage System, also known as HPSS. The application deadlines for ERCAP requests can be found at our website at www.nersc.gov/users/accounts/allocations/deadlines. As you can see from our current page, the deadline for submitting 2013 ERCAP renewals is September 28th, and those are due by 11:59 p.m. Awards for these renewals will be announced in December. New allocation requests for the current allocation year can be submitted via ERCAP up until the beginning of December. Then all new requests will be submitted for the next allocation year. Who can apply? If your project is funded by the DOE Office of Science, or your research project fits within the mission of the DOE Office of Science, you can submit an ERCAP request. You can see an overview of the missions of the various DOE offices at www.nersc.gov/users/accounts/allocations/overview. Each project needs to have somebody identified as a principal investigator, also known as a PI. These are usually people who are already listed as the PI on a research grant. If you are new to NERSC and you want to become a NERSC PI, you should first read the instructions at www.nersc.gov/users/accounts/allocations/first-allocation. This will give you an overview of what you need to do to start your first allocation request. Then you will need to fill out the new PI request form, which can be found at nim.nersc.gov/newpi.php. You will also need to submit a signed computer use policies form. When you're filling out the new PI request form, you can also request an account for a new PI proxy. Proxies can submit ERCAP requests for the PI. If you want to designate a proxy for somebody who already has a NERSC account, do not try to re-add them through the new PI request form. You can either designate them as a proxy when you create your ERCAP request, or you can contact the Account Support Office and request that we make them a proxy for you. All NERSC users can log into the NERSC Information Management website, also known as NIM, and start an ERCAP request. The one caveat is if you are already a proxy for an existing PI and you want to become a PI of your own project, you will need to contact the Account Support Office and we will modify your account to allow you to submit an ERCAP request as a PI. Once you have access to your NIM account, you can log in and go to the My Stuff menu and select the My ERCAP Requests option. If you're an existing PI or a proxy, you will see your requests from the previous 2 years. In general, existing projects should be renewed for the next allocation year. You should not start a new request if you have an existing allocation. Renewing carries forward many of the responses to the request questions and preserves the project's user list. You should renew your current request by clicking on the Recycle icon. If you have requests that have already been started, you will see the paper and pencil edit icon, which will allow you to edit the request. There should also be a PDF icon that will allow you to generate a PDF document which you can print or save to disk. If you are a new PI, or if you want to start an ERCAP request for a new project, then click on the link at the bottom of the page to start a new request. During the period when we are renewing projects, usually late August through the end of December, you will be given two options. One, to submit a request for the remainder of the current allocation year, and one to submit a request that will not start until the beginning of the new allocation year in January. Think carefully about when you want to start working. If you want to start working on our computers before next January, submit a request for the rest of the allocation year. If this request is approved, then we will automatically renew it for you for the upcoming allocation year. The first tab that will be displayed when you start a request will be for the project overview. You should see the PI's name and contact information at the top of the page. You will also have a box to enter information about the senior investigators, and a number of other boxes and menus for additional information. One of these is the project title. Please choose a project title that succinctly describes your project, that is suitable for display in awards lists and in NERSC annual report. You will also be asked for a project name. This should be a short name, no more than 10 characters, that uniquely identifies your project. You want to select your project class. Usually you should select DOE base, unless you know that you fit into another class. You will already know if you should be in a different project class. The science category. Select the science category that best categorizes your work. Do not select other. The DOE office and program. This will be the office that you received your grant from, or whose mission best fits your work. Once you've filled out all these form areas, click on the Save Project Overview button at the bottom of the page. This will save the information you have entered and displays the tabs for the rest of the questions that you must answer. You do not need to complete your ERCAP request in one sitting. Once you have saved the initial project overview page, you can come back and work on your request at any time, up until the submission deadline. You can also have your proxy work on any part of the request, or complete the entire request for you. Also, once you've saved the first tab, you can then go back and include anyone with an existing NERSC account that you would like to designate as a proxy. You can also upload an image logo to represent your project. This image will be used to represent your project in publications and on the NERSC website. One of those displays is the Now Computing page. We recommend that your image be square in shape and no more than 20 megabytes in size. After submitting the information for the first tab, you can click on any of the other tabs of the ERCAP request and answer the questions in any order that you like. Remember, you must click the Save button at the bottom of each page after filling in the information, or your information will be lost. The next tab is DOE funding. This is where you provide information about your grant and describe which DOE office mission your research supports. This is particularly important if you are not DOE funded. Also, be sure to answer the security questions at the bottom of the page. As in any web form, it is a good idea to compose long text in an editor and then cut and paste into the longer fields. Many fields have a character limit, and NIM will tell you how much space you have used and how much you have left. The next tab is for resources. The MPP resource is currently equal to 1 hopper hour. If you will be running jobs on Carver, keep in mind that they will be charged at 1.5 times 1 hopper hour. HPSS resources are calculated in SRUs, storage resource units. An explanation of SRUs can be found by clicking on the link under HPSS charging. And this is only for archival storage. If you need help determining how many SRUs you need, you can click on the link and it will take you to a SRU calculator. SRUs are calculated by the number of files that you put into archival storage, the total number of gigabytes they will occupy, and the I/O used to put them into storage and get them back out. This calculator will help give you an estimate of how many SRUs you should request. Also, under the Resources Requested tab, you'll find a space to put in justification. Tell us how you came up with how much time and resources you want. You will describe your actual project in a different tab. You can also tell us about the major conferences that affect your research and computational needs. The next tab is PDSF. Do not fill out the PDSF tab if you don't use PDSF. If you do use PDSF, you'll know who you are. Project description. Project description, here we give you 3 ways to describe your project. First is the project overview. This should be a succinct description of your project suitable for the general public. Next is the public description. Please summarize in 1 to 2 short paragraphs the high-level goals of your research and its impact on people, the environment, the economy, etc. This is something that you would like displayed to the public on the NERSC website. Third is a long description. This may be a document that you use to obtain your grant or that details the purpose of your project. It can be uploaded into NIM as a PDF document. You will have the option under some questions, such as this one, to upload a PDF document to facilitate with longer explanations, usually something that will take more than 4,000 characters. The other questions on this tab include a URL for your website, which we find to be very important, the accomplishments of your project so far, and also relevant publications. Relevant publications are very important to NERSC and to your program manager because this information is used to support requests for increased resources, both for your project and for NERSC. The next tab is code description. If you are renewing a request, please pay attention to this area as it has changed significantly. Answer all of the questions about each major code that you plan to use. You can add multiple codes by clicking on the Add Another Code tab. Data and networking. Tell us how much on-disk space you need. Tell us what NERSC systems do you need to share data between. Tell us how you perform I/O. What analytics applications you use. And does your current networking bandwidth to NERSC serve your purposes? The next tab is the Validate Current User List. If you are renewing an allocation, this is your current user snapshot. Please clean up your list. Make sure that you check the email address, phone number, and organization that each individual belongs to. If you set somebody's role to deleted on this page, their account will be deleted immediately. The exception being PIs and proxies. If you make a change to a PI or proxy here, it will only affect their upcoming allocation year's role. If you want to make a change for the current year, please contact the Account Support Office by email. Be sure to check the box at the bottom of the page certifying that you have checked everybody's information before you complete the validation process. Other information and submit. Tell us about other HPC support you will be receiving from outside of NERSC and give us feedback on how we are doing to support your needs. Be sure to check the box at the bottom of the page stating that you are finished, and this will submit your request. The final tab is Show a Complete Request. This will allow you to display the entire request so that you can print a copy of it, and also to create a PDF copy of the request that you can save to disk. This completes the steps for submitting and or renewing an ERCAP request. Here is a list of the URLs mentioned during this presentation. And here are the email addresses and phone numbers of the accounts and allocations offices. If you have any questions or encounter any problems with submitting an ERCAP request, please feel free to contact us. Thank you for attending and have a good day.